I'd like to thank you all for coming today. Professor Sharaff couldn't make it, so I get to pretend I'm Professor Sharaff today. I have the honor of introducing a colleague of mine, Dr. Alan Haines from our Academy of Sport and Leisure Studies down at Corinth campus. Dr. Haines has just recently joined us in September, I guess it was. Well, August, but for the September term. And Dr. Haines comes from the U.S., from all over the U.S. He's worked, he's done his PhD in sport management, but he's also done a lot of sport training, which is not physical fitness training, but sport medicine. So looking at injuries, working with professional teams, that kind of thing. But he's also, even though he's sport management, he's a really great, what do you call it, teacher. I don't know if you say pedagogist or what, but he's a great teacher, and he uses a lot of really good electronics and utilizes the internet and the tools on the internet very well. So I think he's going to talk to us today about electronic portfolios, and I drove all the way up here from Corinth to listen to him, so I hope you enjoy it.
Okay. Thank you. When we usually think about a portfolio, or at least 10 years ago in the United States we talked about a portfolio, we're talking about a notebook that was about that thick. And when you teach at a university in the United States, if you're teaching in education, we have this certification group called NCATE, which certifies teacher education programs across the country. And what they do is they come in and they match your syllabus with what you're teaching the students, and you have to have examples of student work. So every single course that's taught in education has to have notebooks of everything that those students did during the class. And they check the syllabus and match it up with what's in the notebook to make sure you're teaching things that are supposed to be taught. And so we had rooms at the University of Southern Mississippi, 4 or 5 rooms this big, filled with nothing but these big, huge, thick notebooks. So we started thinking, and when I came to the campus, I started having the students do electronic portfolios or electronic notebooks. So you can get 8 or 10 of those huge, big notebooks on a CD-ROM or a DVD. So we went from having rooms and rooms and rooms stacked with notebooks to a couple file cabinets full of CD-ROMs. And then when the accreditation group comes in, all they do is pull the CD out, put it in the computer, and look at it. What I'm going to start out with today is I'm just going to show you a couple students' portfolios. One in the U.S. and one my student did down here last semester. This, believe it or not, has music behind it, but it's not playing. There's a little glitch between the computer and the CD, so just assume that there's music playing. There's all sorts of things you can do with these. Let me go back here. What the students do is they hyperlink all these so that when you're in the table of contents and I want to go to the page that's about her, it will go straight to her page with all her information on it. And then we usually have them put a back button in that will take us from her page back to the table of contents. And then we hyperlink all their other information. I should have put my mouse on this. Come on. I don't know what happened to the little arrow now. Oh, here we are, it woke up. And when you click on like the things that are hyperlinked, it will take you right to their assignment. Like this is a little letter that is introducing herself to whoever's reading the portfolio. And then as we go through it, she puts in the different assignments that she had to do in my class, along with any personal things she wanted to add, like famous quotes and things. It's sort of hard to see this, but there's a quote by Plato there that she thought was important and related. This is an article review that she did for 3 articles that she read during class. So anybody, again, that's reviewing this can come through and see an example of the student's work or check and make sure they're doing what they're supposed to do. And then as you go through the portfolio, You know, she goes on with all her works. She's got a PowerPoint here that she put in. So we've got a PowerPoint, like within a PowerPoint. So you can go through and see her PowerPoint that she gave to the class for this project. I'm going to end it and go on. This is just a quick example. But it goes through step by step, all the different things she had to do. All her homework assignments for the semester are in here. The different projects that she had to do. They had to interview a former teacher or professor and get some information in class about, you know, differences in teaching now and then. They had to do a test, make a test, do a test item analysis. And I make them do a journal for every class. They have to write up what they learned every single class as they go through. And then the other thing is with an electronic portfolio, you can do a lot of things. Like in this particular thing, well, we've lost, there we go. She put some pictures in of her teaching class, so you can open that up and, you know, go through it step by step and look at her and the different things that she was teaching in the class and things. And you can also insert a video clip. Hopefully this will play. Okay, we have a video clip of her actually, well, if it's got to connect here, of her actually teaching class. So it's great for our student teachers because they can put a portfolio together, put some clips in there of them teaching class, and when they go apply to a job, hand it to the principal or the headmaster of the school or whoever. And the principal can see, first of all, well, they know technology because they put this whole thing together. Secondly, I can actually watch them teach, which as a principal interviewing somebody for a job, usually you can't do. So there's all sorts of benefits. You know, you can take this one little portfolio and mail it in with a job application. It's got your resume, your whole lifetime on it, anything you want to put on it that you want the employer to know about. You can use it in everything, not just physical education, like the title of this little speech is, but you can use it in, you know, you could use it in engineering, you could use it in just about anything you wanted to. One of the neat things that she did is she put together a bulletin board, and she put dance terminology on the board, and it was like an Easter egg hunt. It was like at Easter time, about this time of year. So she made an Easter egg hunt bulletin board where they had to get the dance term and find the English term that matches up so you get the definition of the dance term, which I thought was a pretty neat little idea. And then she has, it's not going to come up. She has a scrolling thing behind here at the end that another one of the famous things she wanted to see. Okay, this is one of the girls from our campus that put hers together last semester. And it, again, goes through everything we did in my class. She had to have examples of all her work and things she put in for all her classes. So she's got her table of contents, and she goes through step by step, talks about herself. Again, you can click on the hyperlinks, and it would take you to a little letter that introduces herself and tells you about her. And then the different, they had to read 5 articles related to what we were teaching in class. So she has the 5 article titles, and then each one of those you click on the hyperlink and it will take you to that article. My students last semester were required to do a bulletin board. And they said it was the first time they've ever had to do anything like this. Well, when you teach, you have to decorate your classroom with bulletin boards and other things. So they put, you know, video or film on here of her bulletin boards. They also had to do 10 lesson plans, 2 weeks of a unit, whatever they wanted to teach. This girl's also an artist. She drew that. That's one of her paintings that she did. So she's got a lot of talent besides teaching. And then these were the 10 days she taught in rugby, the different things she taught. And again, as you hyperlink to each one of those, you know, let me bring one of them up here. I don't know why this, do you have any idea why this little takes so long for it to come up? This is one of our lesson plans. She's using the UTT format, and it goes through, you know, your objectives, everything she needed to do for the class. And again, when she goes to apply for a job to teach, all she's got to do is pull this out, and there are lesson plans on here with all the information she did through each single day that she taught for those 10 days and what she taught. And it's just an easy way for a student to show off their work. She's got her philosophy of education and philosophy of physical education in there that's hyperlinked to it. And then, again, this was neat because she's got reflections of every class, and of course, little pictures are reflections. And then they're required to do a final class reflection where they go back and they answer 7 questions, like what did I learn in the class, what did I not learn that I expected to learn, you know, what's my work effort or work ethics, those type of things. So they look at themselves and sort of reflect on the class as a whole. And then she's also a photographer, so she wanted to put some extra pictures and things in of some of the things she's photographed and show off that she has, you know, some different talents. That's our PE group that she's with. And then again, she wanted to put some videos in because she also is a talented singer and dancer and a few other things. But she teaches a Sunday school class and works with the Sunday school. Oh, okay. And again, there is sound on this, but you just can't hear it because it's not coming through for some reason. But she also knows sign language. But it was a little presentation that she did with her students from Sunday school, and she wanted to show that off and put it in the video. So again, these are like some of the things you can do with a portfolio to show off your students' work or for your students to show off work. And what we're going to do now is talk about portfolios and what we can use them for. And then we're going to learn how to make one. First of all, why do I have my students use portfolios, or what good are they in education? Well, first of all, it incorporates technology into class. All students should know how to use a word processor, PowerPoint, making a PowerPoint presentation, using Excel and other things like that. And they need to know how to hyperlink. So all these things are combined in this assignment. They have to take their regular written assignments that they've done in Word, hyperlink them to a PowerPoint presentation, write that to a CD or a DVD, and that's a portfolio to keep all their information together. It organizes all their work into one document. It's not a huge notebook, like we said, a 3-ring binder. It's very simply put on a CD now or a DVD. It can show reflective connection between topics. It can show growth and maturity over time. We have some schools in the United States that when a kid comes in first grade, they start a portfolio, electronic portfolio, and they add to it every year. So by the time he gets out of 6th grade, which would be going on to middle school in the U.S., you've got 6 years of his work on there, and it should show growth from a 1st grader to a 6th grader. One of the reasons the high school I was at in the United States went to these electronic portfolios, when I was teaching in Florida, all the major universities in Florida now, they don't want paper applications anymore when you apply to college. They want everything electronic. So what we can do, the student fills out an online application. The guidance counselor can attach all their grade transcripts and records and their electronic portfolio to that and send it into the university. Again, the university got tired of getting all these big, thick notebooks of portfolios to go through to see if students are ready to go to college, how much growth they've had over 4 years in high school, so they can you see it really easy on electronic portfolio. And so you can send it in, and all they have to do is stick it in a computer and use it, and you don't have to worry about mailing off these great big huge packages with these big portfolios in it and these big notebooks. And again, in the United States, at Southern Miss, Delta State, most universities that have a teacher education program, we have to have examples of student work for accreditation purposes. So again, when we went to this, we saved a lot of room, a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of storage space from saving those great big huge notebooks. There's different types of portfolios. The one type, you want to show off your best work. That's sort of like the two I gave you an example of today. You're taking your students' work and you're showcasing it. You know, the best effort that you can do in the classroom, that's what you're putting on the portfolio. It could be a product. You know, you make, like when I taught health, I require my students in the U.S. to keep a daily journal, a daily notebook of nutrition and health. How much exercise they got, calories in, calories out. Those type of things. Well, you can, again, put that here and you don't have to have a huge notebook of all the paperwork and things. So we'll save a few trees also. Process is one that's in progress. That's one that's put together over a period of time. Again, over 4 years in high school, over so many years in college, or just, you know, to show examples of what you learned over a semester in a class. Steps are really easy. First thing, you take a jump drive or some type of storage article, whatever you want to store it on, and you make a folder for the class or whatever it is you're putting it on. So I tell my students, you know, if I'm teaching, let's say monitoring and evaluation I taught this semester, you make a folder in your hard drive or on your jump drive for monitoring and evaluation. You copy everything you do this semester into that folder, and you make subfolders, like article reviews, quizzes, tests, reports, projects, you know, item analysis, whatever you had to do in class, you make a separate folder for categories. And you keep everything in that one main folder. You get done at the end of the semester, you want to turn that into a portfolio, it's not going to be very long to do it. It's going to take you a few minutes. If you don't do that, then you have to go back and reorganize the whole thing, and you've wasted a whole ton of time. You're going to do everything over again. You know, going back and doing stuff. If you do it the first day of class, then the last day of class, when you put your portfolio together, you know, in about an hour, you can knock the whole thing out. Then what we want to do is we want to create a PowerPoint. We want to start out with a nice title page, table of contents, link all these things together, and we'll go through this and look at it a couple times yet. We can insert files, images, sounds, clip art, movies, anything we want to. We hyperlink the text, and we hyperlink everything that's in there, all the assignments they turned in and everything else, so that you can view the students' work. Then we take that entire folder and we write it to the CD-ROM. If we do things correctly, all the hyperlinks and everything else should work. Okay, you gotta double check it, and then if everything works right, your portfolio is done. So how do we copy a folder to the CD-ROM? Well, you find the main file that you want to copy, you right-click on it, and send it to the CD drive or DVD drive, whichever it would be. There's a little balloon that'll pop up that says you have files ready to write to the CD drive. Click on that, click yes, or click on write to the CD, and it will write the CD. And then you just follow any other directions that might be there. When we make the PowerPoint, again, we're going to start off with a title slide. We're going to make a table of contents page, and I tell them to follow their syllabus. Every assignment you had to do in class, just list them. And those will be your table of contents. So if you have article reviews to do, that might be the first thing. Class reflections might be the second thing. Quizzes you took in class, if you're going to put those in, might be the third thing. And you can always scan stuff and put it in. You don't have to retype things in Word. You can scan things and just put them right into the PowerPoint also. And then what you're going to do when you get your table of contents, whatever you've got for the table of contents, then you're going to make what we call a content slide. So if my number one thing was article reviews, my number one content slide would be article reviews. And I might put article review 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or I might put the title of the articles, so that when you click on the article, it will open up the review of the student that the student did. And then again, I also like to put on a little back button from every page that we do that automatically takes them back to the table of contents. So if somebody's looking at it, they can revert right back to the table of contents. If we want to insert images, we're going to choose where it's going to go. We're going to click Insert, go up to Pictures, find the file that the picture's on or the clip art that we want to use, and just insert it. You know, you got to highlight it, click OK, and put it in, and we'll go over that again in a minute. If we want to insert music in the background or on a specific slide, students I taught before in the United States that were in music class, Some of them put their music recitals on there. Original work that they recorded and wrote themselves, it would play in the background of their portfolio. So, it gives the people that are looking at it, again, if you're trying to get something in music and you've written this beautiful piece and it's playing in the background, whoever it is that's listening to us is listening to your talent. And they know what you can do. Sometimes they'll put a stage presentation on. Again, you saw the girl that was the dancer. Some of my dance students would put a dance recital or a clip from a dance recital on it, so you could see what their talent was as far as dance. If they're trying out for a show like American Idol or some other thing, they could send one of these in with some of the clips of their work on it, their singing, their dance, whatever, and the people on the show could analyze to see if they want to give them a tryout. To hyperlink things, what we do is we're going to right-click on the text. We're going to highlight the text we want, then we're going to right-click on it. Then we're going to, a little box will open up, a dialog box, and you go all the way down to where it says hyperlink. Click on there, and all you do then is find what you want to hyperlink it to, and we'll go over that in a minute also. This is just an example of the different types of things that I have my students put in it, or the things that we've used in the past, and again, this would be their table of contents. When you grade it, you can grade it a lot of different ways. You can grade it on creativity. How much did they really get into it and make it their own? Or did they just put a simple PowerPoint together and hand it in? Okay, so effort and things they put. I have a little checklist to make sure that they included all the work they were supposed to in the portfolio. If they put anything extra in, I tell them that if you want to put something extra in to show me that you learned this, or you know how to do this, or you picked up this in class, go ahead and put it in there. How well it's organized, their reflective comments and the connections they make between the class and the portfolio and the other work and things they've done. You can insert your pictures. I always tell my kids, put your picture on if you want to. Especially if you're applying for a job or something. Put your picture out there. Let people see who you are. Insert quotes from famous people. Sometimes it's from their parents. Sometimes it's from a philosopher. Sometimes it's from a professor or a teacher that made an impact on them with something they said. So put that in there if it's important to you. Let people know what your philosophy and your goals and things are. And again, insert pictures. Make it interesting. Make it as interesting as you can for other people to look at. Make it applicable to your program. Whatever it is the student is trying to get across. If they're trying to get a job, again, they want their resume on there, they want an introductory lesson, they want to tell the people what their goals are, what their philosophy is, what they're trying to do in life, how this job is going to help them in life, and how they can help this company or this school as far as being a teacher or whatever. And the most important thing is they have to make it their own. They have to put some of their personality into the PowerPoint. You can use Microsoft Word and just have page by page linked together and hyperlink things back and forth. You can use different web page makers like Dreamweaver and things like that, and then actually make a web page out of your portfolio. You could go to Yahoo, GeoCities, or any other one of the hosting things that give you web space, website time, put up there and make your own thing. You can put it on Facebook if you wanted to. Put it just about anywhere. And then again, teacher educator portfolio packages. There's different packages out there that you can buy. Online, you can go on and look up electronic portfolios, and there's packages you can buy, like this software that you can put on your computer, your kids' computers, your class's computers, that helps them organize and structure their portfolios. This way, it's cheaper and it's easy to use. You don't have to buy any software. You just use a PowerPoint. Again, like I've said, it could be used as part of a job application. It could be transferred to a web page. It could be used as an example. Your work you want to show somebody else. You can mail it anywhere around the world. And all those hyperlinks and everything should work on any computer anywhere. And again, it could become part of an electronic resume. If you need help, Google either one of these things. Helen Barrett is considered like the guru of electronic portfolios. She's like at the University of Anchorage, Alaska. And she's been doing these for years, one of the first person to really come out with it. And she's got tons and tons and tons of information online. And a lot of times, anytime you click on anything, her name will be there and it'll come up. I have handouts for you, so this information, I'll give it to you before you leave. You can click on any one of these and it'll take you to, again, electronic portfolio sites just to give you some examples and help if you need it. So let's make one. If you have a computer with you and you want to do one of these, you can put one together while we're here. Again, the first thing we do is make a title slide. And I usually put something together related to what we're doing and title it according to what the class is or whatever. Next thing, we're going to make a table of contents. So right here, what I've done is put together a table of contents. And again, I went through real quickly. We're going to come back and do this again. And I hyperlinked them. So contextual factors go to the contextual factors course, and then I've got a back button down here that takes me right back to the table of contents. Next, we make a content slide, so everything we put in the table of contents, we make a separate slide for. And I've gone ahead and done that here so that you just get an example of what it would look like. And what I did is whatever assignments would go along with that title, I put on that page. Also, what I encourage the students to do is the last page is put your information on there. If somebody is to look through this portfolio and they want to offer you a job, how do they get a hold of you? Well, put your email or something on there for them to get a hold of you at. Or if somebody wants some more information, they may call one of my students and say, hey, how did you do that portfolio? Come and teach me how to do it. And by the way, if you need more information, that is my email address, so you can contact me. Okay, so how do we hyperlink something? Well, let's see if we can get this to work. Again, we're going to go to the table of contents and highlight the first title. We're going to right-click on that, scroll down to the hyperlink box or icon and click it. And then we're going to find whatever it is we want to hyperlink to, click on that, and then hit OK, and it should be in your presentation. Now, for some reason, these links won't work on this computer. So let's see how this works. And the sound's not coming through from here again either. Anyway, what we're doing is you're clicking, right-clicking, then you're coming down to where it says hyperlink, then you come back up here and we're looking for contextual factors. We're going to look for a place in this document. We're looking for contextual factors. So we're going to scroll down here until we see contextual factors. It just happens to be highlighted right here. We'd click on that, then come down and click OK, and now it's hyperlinked. It's real easy to do. Okay, it doesn't really take a whole lot. So we can click on it and go to this page. And again, as I showed you, click the back button and it's going to go back to the table of contents. Had these all nice together and put into this presentation, and for some reason this computer won't link them. And I'm not sure why. Yes, sir.
The computer is muted, the sound on the machine is muted.
That's right, it might not be. Good thing we should have thought of that earlier, huh? That's what it is. Well, I can go back and show you a couple other things then too. Okay, again, as I said, what I like to do is have the students go in and put in a back button that takes them from the page you're on back to the table of contents page. Let's say we want to put music in. Well, we do the same thing. At this point, let's go ahead and add a sound to our slideshow. So we'll get an insert button up here and come over to sound. We're going to hit this particular piece right here that we want to add. Come down and click OK. We want it to start automatically with the slideshow. And then I'm going to go up here and click so it plays across all the slides during the slideshow. So now we have our little music section in there. I'm going to drag this icon down here to the right and then save it into the slideshow. Okay, so if we go back up here, what I'm going to do is go back up to my first slide, right here. So I want to add a sound. Again, I'm going to come up here to Insert. I'm going to come over here to Sound. I'm going to find the music clip that I want to put in. And it's not even showing on here. Here we go. Let's see if it's in here. Here we go. We'll use this right here. We're going to put this in. Again, we want it to start automatically, and I want it to play across all the slides. The little icons here, I just move it down over here somewhere just to get it out of the way. Now, when we go to slideshow from the beginning, try it again. Probably should have saved it, huh? Okay. So we have music that will play behind all of the slides as we go through and look at it. So you could incorporate, you could make this into a loop where he just continually shows. Sometimes we go out and doing presentations, like we did a presentation, a recruiting presentation for Delta State. So we went out and put a whole series of slides together for our program of kids doing different activities, looped it, played music behind it. We go out to a conference somewhere, or we go out to a recruiting fair. All we have to do is set our stuff up and let it play, and the kids come up and watch it and see all the stuff that's going on. The other thing you can do, I'm going to cut the music off. The other thing, I use this little flip camera. Have y'all seen a flip camera before? This is one of the newer ones. It lasts about 3 or 4 hours, the battery. This one is unique because it's got a new little thing so you can sit down and watch it. Put it on your desk and watch what you've just recorded. I recorded these things on the computer at about 12 o'clock this afternoon and just put them in here. Okay? It's real simple to use. Turn it on. I can record what's going on here in the class. Get a picture of everyone here. It's a little blurry right now, but just a quick thing, and then all you do is flip a button, plug it in your computer, and download it. And I can download it right into the internet, right into any type of program I want. I can save them on the computer and input it into PowerPoint presentations later or whatever I want to do. They used to be sort of expensive. I think this one cost me just under $200. And the other one, it lasted about an hour. This one also is unique because when you plug it in, it charges off the computer. So to recharge it, you just plug it into the computer. And it's really cool. Yeah, I'll pass this around so y'all can look at it. Then I want to make sure I stop recording. So again, we'll go back to the slide we were on. Now, let's say we want to add a movie clip. It's very, very similar. We take a movie, like with maybe this little camera here, and then find whatever it is that we want to put into it. And again, it's real easy to insert it in. I have a clip on soccer, so I'm going to highlight soccer. Right click on it. Come down to the hyperlink section. Click on that. Then I'm going up here and search out the section that I want, and what I want to put in is this UTP soccer clip right here. So I'm going to highlight it, hit OK, and now we hyperlink this page to the soccer page. When we go back up to slideshow from the current slide, and then we click on hyperlink here for the soccer game, the video will come up in a short period of time, and we can set it to the correct setting for the side of the screen that we have and watch the video. So let's say you're a coach and you're trying to get one of your athletes recruited to play in the United States or to make the national team. So you take some video of the student playing and you incorporate into a CD-ROM with all his background, his statistics, his records, this, that, whatever, and send it to somebody and they can watch the video right on there. So again, to give you an example of what we did, figures, right? Anyway, we had, if this computer was a little bit more up to date, I don't know why it's looking for a web page. Well, we can't open the file. But anyway, the soccer game was also incorporated into there. It just shows you that you can put a movie in, you can do whatever. Anything that's digital, you could add to it. So if there was something on TV remembering that education can use short clips of things off of television or whatever. You know, you can make a video and show it 1 or 2 times in your classroom and then destroy it. You're not breaking copyright laws as long as you're using it for educational means and you're not charging for it. You could videotape something, or rather not videotape, but you know, get something off TV that's on a DVD or a CD-ROM if it's digital, and incorporate it right into your PowerPoint presentation for your class. I've done that on several occasions for things that I wanted the students to see. So basically, we've gone through anything. These are some of the books, some of the current texts that I've used before that you might be interested in, you know, picking up, looking at, reading. Anybody have any questions? The what?
The back link.
Oh, okay. Let me show you that real quick. Question is, how do we get the back button in? Well, you come up here to insert. In the older versions of Microsoft Word and Microsoft PowerPoint and all that, there was an insert thing and you could go over and search, and you could just search for back button. And it had like 8 or 10 different ones you can use. Right now, you can just go up to shapes, and at the very bottom, it has action buttons. Across here, you see, everybody see this at the bottom? It's like right here. You've got a forward, a back, you've got a house, which would be home. So if you wanted to go back to the beginning, you've got little photography thing or a camera for putting in movies. You could use these, or you could use any of these arrows or things up here. Sometimes students will put these in. You can make it any size you want, any color you want. And all you do is hyperlink it from there to get it to go back to the table of contents. So you can add, you know, put anything in that you want. But these little action buttons down here are little logos that you could use that are already prepared.
Oh, so it's basically just a little picture that you put there, and then you hyperlink it back to the beginning.
Anything you want to put in there, you can put in. And you just hyperlink it, and you can draw it in and color it whatever you want. You could use your own picture to, you know, to click on, whatever you want to do. Any other questions?
When are you giving the electronic portfolio workshop?
I can do one anytime. If you want to, I'm going to Jamaica to talk on electric portfolios at a conference over there in June, right? It's a 2-day conference on technology and physical education and all the updates. It's got all the latest research from the Caribbean islands on health and physical education and the newest research and things. And it's also talking about how to use technology in teaching physical education. So I'll be doing a similar thing over there. And as I said, I do have a couple handouts. This is an article that came out that talks about the new uses of importance of having portfolios and why everybody should have one, especially if you're looking for a job. And then the other handout here is the presentation I just gave. And as I said earlier, if you have any questions, feel free to contact me at any time, and I'll be glad to meet with you and help you out with stuff. Next semester, this summer session, I'm teaching a class in pedagogy. Again, and I make all my pedagogy students, all my teachers, learn how to do an electronic portfolio, and they have to do one for that class. So my summer school class will be doing one of these over that 6-week period. Any other questions? Okay, thank you very much for coming, and I appreciate your attention.
All right, thank you very much.